Good evening, welcome along. Hasn't this been a long time coming? We are live for the first ever time here on the podcast channel, and we are watching the first game of the 24-25 championship season. The first, hopefully, of many live streams, depending on how we go. And it's great to have you in for it. I hope you're keeping well. I will say, as it's the first ever one, and I'm having to do it via YouTube for the first time in about 3 years, for those of you who follow over on the FM channel, let me know of any large technical glitches and we'll work it out as we go along. Not sure why Harvey's message just disappeared on the screen, but aside from that, it's all looking pretty good. So welcome in. I hope you're keeping well. Thank you for being here with us as always. And fingers crossed, you'll be able to enjoy the rest of this day, as I've accidentally put my sound on there. But lovely to have you in. Thank you very much for coming in and checking us out. Let us know down in the chat, as I mentioned in the build-up, what game are you watching tonight? Because obviously there are 4 or 5 choices in EFL, as well as one from Scotland and Northern Ireland. And what do you think the score will be in the game I'm watching? And in fact, both championship games this evening, because Blackburn versus Derby, of course, a very big game. 2 sides that, based on a lot of you on our predictions video last week for pre-season, a lot of you said this might be 2 of the sides going down this year. This guy, welcome in. Both of you going 2-0 Rovers so far. But obviously, one of the big things was that a lot of people had Derby and Blackburn in the bottom 3. We reluctantly went for Blackburn based on what's happening off the pitch. But a lot of people have gone for Derby as well. I had them just outside. So I'm intrigued to see how this game goes tonight. I've actually gone for a pretty thrilling game, a 2-2 draw. Obviously, at that point, I didn't know that Sammy Schmodix would be left on the bench, that James Collins, the Luton legend, would be left on the bench. And obviously Sonny Bradley, the other former Luton man's on there as well. So a little bit surprising. I can see the only slight issue we've got so far is the chat box. I've not quite got right because there are messages popping in and out. But aside from that, it's going better than I thought it would do. So thank you very much all for coming in. I'm looking forward to this game. I really think it's going to be a good one. I do feel for you if you've chosen to go for the opposite match. I said it in a Discord earlier. I'll be gobsmacked if there's more than 1 goal in the Preston versus Sheffield United game. But we'll have a run through the lineups for both matches in a minute. And we'll see what's going on, because I think it's going to be an interesting game. But either way, I think we've got the more entertaining one here. Blimey. Some big crowds in the lower leagues as well. But just 5 minutes to kick off the new EFL season. I don't know about you. We were having this chat in the FM Discord the other day. I haven't had this much excitement for the start of an EFL season in a long time. And I don't know if it's obviously because Luton have come down and are now one of the favourites. We're back in the league. The excitement of not having VAR again. But yeah, it's just something's really got to me this year. Maybe it's my lower excitement for the Premier League. I don't know. But it's really got the appetite going. The Blackburn Stadium is not full. I've got the chat sorted now. There we go. It should show the messages permanently now. And I can make your chat a little bit bigger. Let's see if we can do it. Experiment as we go along. Jumbo, welcome in. Let's get those settings saved. Hopefully we'll be good to go now. So it should stay in the messages there. But Jambo's gone for it as well. You haven't, Jambo. Why has everyone gone 2-0 Jambo? 2-0 Rovers. Just me today, Jambo. This is sort of the test event, if you want to call it that. The experiment to make sure it works. And we didn't want to put in the added jeopardy of internet troubles between the 3 of us. But I will point out something important. The other night, the 3 of us did record something as a trio for the first time in a long time. There's quite often been 2 of us and then moving around because of jobs and that. But you'll see in the international break, we have done a little something with all 3 of us. And hopefully in the future, these live streams will be moving on with 3 of us or 2 of us in. I can give you my really difficult who am I later. I'll take note. Yeah. I've been, I'm not going to do any today, but I've been preparing loads of EFL related ones, which I think will be a good laugh when we move along. So I'll be interested to see how people get on with them. For those of you who haven't seen, we did publish it on the community page a few weeks ago. There's going to be a few of these in the first couple of months of the season, though I have to say, subject to the date of my house move, which may be coming up, possibly affecting the last one or two of them. But the plan is we're going to be here tonight. We're also going to be here in 2 weeks' time on the Friday night because there is a massive game. And it was sort of a bit of a jeopardy. We'd planned to do the Friday night games regularly, and then Luton got picked for about half of them. So now it's going to be quite difficult for us to do. But we can't complain too much, can we? Lovely to see a few of you coming in and a few coming over from the regular FM channel as well. Do appreciate that. So thank you for coming to say hello. Harvey, I've not been this excited for a long time, but obviously, and that's the thing, I don't know whether that's the same for me as a Luton fan. It's because there's now something to play for. Obviously, you're coming back up to the Championship after a number of years away. For us, it was the excitement of coming back down and being favourites for one of the first times, which is a bit of a weird one. Not something we've become accustomed to over the years. Liam, 1-0 air already. It was a bit of a shame, really. I thought this was going to be quite a good game in Scotland tonight, but the start of the EFL season's got me excited, so I've got to see. Seeing you might be doing a few Hearts watch-alongs. Well, yeah, Jambo, the Thursday nights could potentially have quite a few of them going, couldn't they? But yeah, the next live stream on this channel will be 2 weeks today as well. Sheffield Wednesday Leeds is a huge match. And we've got the Friday after the international break, which is Hull Sheffield United. And the Friday after that, Stoke Hull, which is the one where potentially is about the earliest we could be moving. So it's going to be the relaxed chat. For those of you that have followed the FM channel during the Euros and that, you'll know the way we do this. We just chill, we have a chat whilst we're all watching whatever game we are. And we all give each other updates. A few little quizzes where Jambo makes us pull our hair out. And we'll do a You're the Ref later as well, because obviously that's an old classic on this channel too. It's where it all began. This guy, I can't wait for the season on the way. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Obviously, I'm a bit disappointed in a way that we're playing Burnley on Monday night, not having the first game on a Saturday or whatever. But for me, trying to do the 92, it's really worked out okay, because tomorrow now we're going off to AFC Wimbledon v Carlisle. So I'm going to get to tick off the new Plough Lane for the first time, which will be great. So I'm really looking forward to that as well, going to a League 2 game, then going to the Luton-Burnley game on Monday. It's going to be a cracking double header of live football for me this weekend. So you'll get to see clips on the channel from both of those as well, which will be great. Jambo's gone for Barnsley-Mansfield. Interesting. Oh, have I gone? Garlow Gillingham's the game we're going to go for. Sorry. Oh, Wimbledon. Oh, bloody hell. I am all over the place. Yeah, Gillingham was the game we're going to go. Wimbledon, Colchester, sorry. My mistake, Jambo. Yeah, they were the two we were choosing between because they're both direct from Luton. Steve, good afternoon to you from your part of the world. None of that tonight, Jambo. Not sure how I feel about this Sky Sports Plus thing. Feels like prioritising armchair fans over fans who actually go to the games. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting debate. Probably one we'll have during these live streams, to be honest. I completely agree with you that that's what it does. I mean, for me as a Luton fan, will it mean I can go to more other games? Probably, yeah. So that's not a bad thing. It's been a nightmare for me, Jambo, with us moving up north and a lot of the games being moved to Friday means I'll miss more than I'd intended before now. But it's always going to go that way, Jambo, isn't it? If it keeps all the games being played in the UK at least, then that's great. But yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare tomorrow that for the fans, all of the games are going to be at different times of the day. Obviously, each league's got a dedicated time slot. Yeah, Liam, I know it was you. Don't worry. Welcome in, by the way. You're watching Air Airdrie, which I think will have goals as well. This guy, what do you think about Preston v Sheffield United? It'll be a low-scoring game for me, based on last season. We know what Preston tried to do against the top sides. I mentioned it in the prediction show last week. I was a little bit worried about Sheffield United prior to the last 2 or 3 weeks where they've signed some really good players. But the way Preston's set up, I feel probably a 1-0 away win is the most you're going to get. But I don't see there being many goals unless Preston come out a completely different team, which based on the fact they've barely lost or signed anyone is unlikely. As we're about to kick off here at Ewood Park, to be fair, it is filling up quite nicely. What are we going to get tonight? We'll talk about the teams when it starts in a minute. But yeah, Jambo's asked the question I was going to. What games are you all going to tomorrow? What games you all watching this weekend? Or even what game are you most looking forward to? They're the questions I was going to ask as we do kick off the new EFL season. And Blackburn, nice set piece routine from the kickoff, but lost it and it nearly went very wrong. As it is though, they still break away down the left. And the early ball in almost causes trouble. Paramount have revealed their games through the end of September, Steve. Every Wrexham game being streamed. Yeah, but there's a good argument they're the biggest EFL side in the US at the moment, aren't they? So look, if it gets them a better TV deal in the US, if it gets more fans to see other EFL clubs and maybe even start to support other teams, then great. As Blackburn really started strong here. All into the box is blocked, out for a throw. Yeah, for me, it's AFC Wimbledon tomorrow. And on the mention of Sky Sports Plus, Jambo, we ordered the remote for the update from Virgin Media. It's completely broken everything. I can't record, can't watch normal TV, anything. So it's been an absolute nightmare. And I still haven't actually got Sky Sports Plus yet, which may be an issue for tomorrow. So I can't record the games while we're out. And I've also got a 6-a-side to get through in the morning, which will be bad enough as it is. Thinking Leeds, Pompey, Gillingham, Carlisle, Dundee, Hearts. Yeah, Leeds, Pompey will be an interesting one. Or Derby messing around in their own box. I'm not sure, actually, what will be the best of the early games. Oxford, Norwich is the TV one, which I think will be interesting. Every Burnley game except one's available, Steve. That's not bad going, is it? What do you make of the MK takeover? I kind of mentioned it in the Discord. If I take aside the bias about the team and the franchise and what everyone thinks of them, if we're being completely honest, it could be a positive thing for the city because look, they've got a massive untapped potential of fan base, loads of young people and young families there. And if they made it affordable and built a generation of fans, they could be a force in 10 or 15 years as Derby get their first breakaway down the right, not even getting a chance to talk about the game, the lineups, because there's so much action here. And it is very open early on, it must be said. Derby leaving 2 up, plenty of space in midfield, which Blackburn are trying to exploit at speed. And it is looking like a home Birmingham performance under John Eustace as they get their first free kick. Let's have a look at the chat as well. Lovely to see so many of you in. Yeah, what game are you reffing, Harvey? Obviously a referee over in Wales, for those who don't know. He's become a ref in Scotland. We need some decent ones. He's not going to want your abuse, is he, Jumbo? The amount of conspiracy theories you come up with. If Harvey has ever been pictured in a Rangers or Celtic shirt, he needs to stay at least 200 miles away from you, doesn't he? Blackburn free kick in, not dealt with well. Header at the back post. Maybe should have done a little better there. It was headed wide in the end. I think it might have been offside, but it wasn't given. Who was that at the back post? Is it Hyam? It was. They're being creative with a set plays. To be fair, Blackburn were from the kickoff initially. Yeah, looking at the teams today, obviously the headline news is that Sammy Schmodix is on the bench for Blackburn. Clearly means he's going to be off very soon. You've also got Andy Vyman and Danny Barth, the 2 newest signings like that. Whereas for Ipswich, it's 5 at the back by the looks of it. But I'm intrigued to see how a couple of these get on. Oslo's maybe stepped into midfield, so potentially it's going to just be a 4 again, with Ben Osborne in the middle as well. I think that's a quite clever signing, but both of the Luton boys on the bench, as well as Ryan Nyambi, who of course previously was a Blackburn man for many a year. You're reffing Connors Keytown in Tier 3 tomorrow against Porthmadog. Last season was Tier 2 v 4. Oh, that'd be an interesting one. Inauspicious start. They have their games mixed up on the stream. Select Preston game, you'll get Blackburn vice versa. Ah, brilliant. Gotta love... What a start for Sky Sports Plus. It seems no one knows what they're doing. Last one I said about the VAR stab was true. Jambo, yeah, but most of them aren't, are they? I got really confused when I saw Connors Key until I saw the sound at the end. Oh, dear. Nothing like a Scottish football conspiracy. Thank you to everyone who chucked a thumbs up already as well. Appreciate that. And look, you said, is it only me this evening? Charlie Betts is in the chat. There you go. 2 of the podcast in. As I tell you what, Derby have got a breakaway down the left. The pass is just pushed a little wide. Mendes Lang able to hold the ball up. Can they get men in support? There's 3 inside, 1 behind. And an overlap from the fullback, but the pass out to him wasn't the best. He didn't get that ball into the box. Charlie Betts is more worried about carrot cake at the minute. We'll come to that argument in a minute, which I tend to agree with. It's worked in. It's a lovely little back heel by the centre forward. Caden Jackson on his debut. Couldn't quite get enough on it, though, and it's quite comfortable for the keeper to deal with. But there you go for the Blackburn aggression. The first chance goes to Derby County. Oh, no, Harvey. Harvey. I've got a feeling whenever we next do our ramble in the build up to Christmas, there's going to be a whole topic of carrot cake. I mean, me and Charlie happen to be in agreement. Why you would put an average vegetable in a cake, I don't know. But each to their own, I guess. I mean, Harvey, you've got the added benefit of you live in a vicinity of plenty of good Welsh cakes, I would imagine, which means you shouldn't need anything else. Jambo went back to my Hearts save. I won the Champo, beat Hibs 9-1. I bet you enjoyed that as a Hearts fan. Air hit the outside the post from a bending effort. Blimey. Looks like they've started very well. Although they should be favourites for that, shouldn't they? I do think they'll do well under Scott Brown this year. They played good football towards the end of the last one. As Blackburn get in down the right, it's going to be in, is it? No. It's gone wide. I'm not quite sure how he's missed that. The new centre forward makes a brilliant peeling run off the in between the two centre halves. There's a lovely ball through. Oh, keeper might have got a hand on that, you know, Vickers. No, he didn't. He didn't. It's just dragged wide a little. Keeper did well. He came quickly, made himself big, but potentially should have been a chance taken. Certainly should have hit the target there, Shigay. But a good start from Blackburn, despite that one little chance they gave up. Carrot cake is either great or terrible. All depends on if it's dry or moist. Hey, carrot cake. The point I think me and Charlie are making is, if you had a choice of all of the cakes, why would you pick carrot cake? I think that's the argument we're making. I should just say as well, while Charlie's in as well, a massive thank you to everyone for the support on the pre-season prediction videos. If you've not seen them yet, check them out on the channel. We've got our pre-season promotion, relegation and playoff predictions for all three EFL leagues, the National League, and our match day one predictions for the Championship. So you can see what we've gone for in all of tomorrow's, Sunday and Monday's games. Did Carnarvon in the Welsh Cup a few years ago at Prestatyn. They bought a few fans even for that. Oh, that's great. That's good for the lower league side as well, or for the less reputable side with less fans, I should say. Welsh cakes are good, but nothing beats a red velvet. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably, of the regional cakes, I'd probably go for an Eccles cake over all of them. I like a Chorley cake as well. But obviously, as you can tell, I've been laying off them the last few months to get the weight off, especially with 6-a-side in the morning as well. Only Carnarvon game I've been to was a friendly and was just wondering if you'd ref that game. Oh, fair enough. The only game I've been to in Wales is the Cardiff one. I'm going to have to get my apologies in advance because I'm going to have to go and put the fan on because it is roasting in here. So bear with us a second. Hopefully not too much background noise for you, but needs must at the minute. Goal kick Blackburn. Just calm down after that frantic 5 minutes. But this game is... I'm kind of confident in my 2-all prediction now if both teams show form in front of goal because there's definitely an openness to this game. Both sides... I mean, trying to counter at speed with numbers. Oh, Jambo. Who am I? I've played with Victor Moses, Aaron Ramsey, Hal Robson-Kanu, Craig Bellamy and Henry Lansbury. Now, if this was anyone else making this Who Am I, Jambo, I'd immediately say there's a Welsh link. The difficulty with that is, I know you. So there's not going to be a Welsh link, is there? Did Bellamy and Ramsey both play in that Olympics that you love? Jumbo, Mansfield have the ball in the net through Bacchus, but the goal disallowed. Guessing due to a Mansfield player blocking the goalkeeper's side. Fair enough. I did say it in the pre-season predictions. I know I predicted Mansfield to go down, which was prior, it must be said, to them signing Will Evans from Newport, the top scorer from them in League 2 last year. But I did say Bacchus could be one of the signings of the season in League 1. I think that's a really good player. And a very good sign. I'm surprised he didn't maybe get a club a little higher up the pyramid. As Blackburn switched to play quickly, cross deflection from the left, it's easy for the keeper. No great chances at either end yet. I'm saying that Olympic squad, Jambo. I tell you what, based on that, I might have it. If there's an Olympic squad link, Jumbo, I'm going for Ryan Bertrand. Because he will have played with Moses and Lansbury. Would he have played with Robson Kanu, though, because he wasn't in the Olympics? Did Bertrand play for Reading? Or am I imagining that? Not Bertrand. That's the only one I couldn't think of. It's got to be the Olympics, though. Or Moses at Chelsea. Where would Lansbury have been? I'm trying to think who else was in that Olympic squad that keeps popping up in these streams. What about Sturridge? Sturridge was in there, wasn't he? I don't know where the link is to Lansbury or Robson Kanu. As we get our first yellow card of the game. Bit of a late tackle. Bit of an unnecessary one, in truth. I think it was Barkhuizen in the end. Yeah, he's just slid in down the back. He was no need to do that. The ball's going nowhere. It's just a short pass out wide. Really silly challenge this early in the game as well. Only 10 in. No Chelsea link, Jumbo. Okay. Rob, good evening. Good to have you in. Regular in the YouTube comments. I hope you're keeping well. The club links are going to get me. I'm convinced by that list, though, that there's an under-21s link. Sorry, an Olympics link. It won't be Jason Steele, because you did that one before, I'm pretty sure. Rob, are you nomadic on Twitch? I never knew that. There's a good kept secret. You're always learning, aren't you? I never knew that. Welcome in as well. Good to have you here. Jumbo's racking our brains again. Who else was in that Olympic squad? Of course you do, Jumbo. I tell you what, Jumbo, you also relearn something every day as well. Because I had to relearn how to set up a stream on YouTube today, which, let me tell you, was not easy. It's not as easy as I remembered. You take for granted how simple the Twitch bit is. Another free kick in from Blackburn. It's a good delivery. Easy stuff for the goalkeeper. Rob has in a Discord. Why the different names, Rob? What made you go for Nomadic Striker on Twitch? I'm intrigued by that choice. As Derby try, you can see they're trying to get in the channels. Maybe that's why they've gone for Jackson over a Collins or something. But I do wonder if they'll chuck Collins on late in games to try and get a goal. Thank you to everyone who's chucked a thumbs up on it already. Appreciate that. It does help the stream, of course, on YouTube. This mighty algorithm that we've forgotten all about. As Blackburn break away down the left. Again, 2-on-1 in the wide area. Good block by the fullback for Derby. Nearly called them Leeds for some reason. They break away down the right. It's just not got enough support. They're forced backwards. I guess it wouldn't hurt them to control the game for a few minutes, but still. Who else was in that team, Jumbo? Jack Cork. I can't link him. But he was in that team. Would he have played with Robson Kanu? Again, he's the problem. He'd played with Moses. I think I might be stuck after that. No, Jumbo, not again. 1-0 Sheffield United. Stay there. Stay there. That's my prediction out the way. Who scored it, Steve? And what did you predict for that game? Because you're the one who usually beats me in a prediction show. Huge deflection, but was it on target before? Derby away down the right. Again, supporting the box, but they've only got one in the middle without Collins in there as well. That's the problem. Who like Ozzo in midfield who signed for Derby? He was linked heavily with Luton. Danny Rose, good shout. Nomadic was a fun name when I tried to give streaming a go and just start with it. Oh, you did streaming as well. What sort of time was that? How long ago? And did you enjoy it? How did you find it? As you can tell, I never learned how to become a professional, so I just stuck with the amateur style streams. Micah Richards, another one in that squad yet. Barnsley 0, Mansfield 1. Good goal as well. Back to Derby on the edge. Oh, that's a good chance, but the offside flag goes up. About 4 years or so ago. I liked it, but then went travelling. Oh, lovely. Any thought of picking it up again as we're about to see the Sheffield United goal here? Oh, yeah, huge deflection. But that's always been the problem with Preston. When you're defending so many numbers so deep, you look at that block of 6 they've got in the middle there. I mean, our blaster, he's one to watch this season. Yeah, Steve, he's a player to watch. One of the shining lights at the end of their dismal season last year. I think he might have a quite big year in the Championship. I noticed a couple of you in the group had gone for him in the EFL Fantasy League as well. About 4 years or so ago. Rob, did you ever think of picking it back up? Or did you never want to after that? Scoreboard not updated on Sky Sports Plus yet. Great start. Jambo, come on. It's going to be tough for them, isn't it? They know they've not got to worry this weekend because it's not working properly on the Sky Sports app. It's not working on Virgin Media. So they haven't got to worry, have they? We've got to do a little quiz today as well to remember how quickly I update the score when there's a goal too. That's always a fun thing when I'm doing watch-alongs. Those from the YouTube channel will know I'm not... the Twitch channel will know I'm not very good. Goal for Chesterfield as well. Armando Dobra has put them one up in 15 minutes. I really worry for Swindon this year. I've got them right in the bottom 4 or 5. Ayr United have just scored a second with George Oakley. And obviously we just saw the Sheffield United goal as well. The Mansfield goal. Stephen Quinn going strong as well. Finally updated, Jambo. You do blogging instead. Do you have your own site or do you just do it on the forums? Where do we find them? I want to see your saves. This guy, you followed Steve, did you? You both went for the Championship's favourite scoreline for Sheffield United Preston. There's part of me, this guy, that's really upset I only went for 2 this weekend. I feel like I might end up regretting that. The problem is with the opening day, you have to predict 1 or 2 teams to win comfortably because there's always like a 4 or a 5 somewhere. I just hope it's not against Luton. I do worry a bit for Monday night because we're very light in defence at the minute. I'm sure we'll be all right once we get going. Yet another alias name. Indeed. I'm sure it's going to be another different one, isn't it? To be fair, I will say Derby have looked a threat on the break here, as in they'd be able to create chances. Steve's gone for 4 1-1s, and that's why you're going to beat me this weekend. Double the amount of 1-1s. Probably means double the amount of points. Harvey, I don't think they will, but I think from the same league when there's 2 or 3. Don't forget, Harvey, this is a unique scenario. Obviously, most weekends when there's Sky Sports Plus games, it's going to be like this. It's going to be 2 or 3. And they'll only show the ones from the same league, I think. So, like, we've had the score updates here to say Chesterfield have scored, Mansfield have scored. But the only one we've had the goal from is the other Championship game. And it's not normally, I think with the 12:30s, again, it's going to be 2 at a time, isn't it? So it's probably just one other game. And then score updates from the others. Jambo, at the end of the season, I'm going to leave Hearts, try and find a new club. I hope you get a good one. If you do play FM as well, feel free to get your save updates in. Need a third clue. Ask an obscure yes or no question. Well, Jambo, I want to know, is there a link to that Olympic squad? You know what my question is. There's got to be a link to that Olympic squad. So after saying I thought this would be one of the entertaining games of the night, it's now the only of the 4 in England without a goal yet. So if that gives you an indicator of how my predictions are going to be this year, sure, that'll be good. Mansfield have got a second. Blimey. What a start for them. George Cooper as well. As Blackburn break away to the edge of the box. Good ball over to the right. Someone's got to deliver. It's back to the midfielder again. Into the box. Drops down and it's into the roof of the net for 1-0. We have a goal here as well. The EFL's off to a flyer. It's Tyree Stolen from 6 yards. Ball across the box. Not dealt with particularly well from Derby. I've got to say, while he made a hash of his shot a few minutes ago, Gay did really well on the right-hand side there to get the ball across the box. But one of the key things you can see from Blackburn, and his team used to do it at home with Birmingham a couple of years ago, is switching the play really quickly on the attack. Gay holds his run well across the box. It's a little bit of a challenge in the middle. I'm not sure, was it Hedges going in with a defender? And then the fullback's lost his man. It's Wilson. He's just drifted. He's just drifted towards the goal line to try and protect it. But then he's left Dolan free as a bird 6 yards out. He puts it into the roof of the net. And now it's 1-0. Let's get the score updated before I forget. There we go. Blackburn Rovers 1. Derby County 0. To be honest, I did think Barnsley had struggled a little this season, having let the manager go with one game to go last season. And they've lost a few goals as well. A well-worked goal from Blackburn there, it's got to be said. But maybe not the best defending of the box from Derby. Steve's happy as a Burnley fan, I bet. And now we've got Ben Osborne down injured. 20 minutes gone. Yeah, not going well for Barnsley. It's a shame as well. I adore Oakwell. It's one of my favourite stadiums in the EFL. Yeah, Rob, I'm not sure I have got it, but I'm not sure what the automated settings are for the chat here, so possibly not seeing it. But send it in the Discord if not, and we'll have a look on there. Paramount concentrated more on a Preston game pre-match. Fair enough. I mean, I can understand it to an extent. Sheffield United were the Premier League side last year, so maybe that makes sense. Dolan looks good. Yeah, there were a lot of question marks about whether he would be here at the end of the window, wasn't there? Obviously, it looks pretty clear now that Schmodix is going to be off. It's just whether they can replace those goals. And Ngay, he's not finished well so far, but he looks a threat. But yeah, Dolan was linked with us earlier in the summer, but there's no way we'd pay the fee for him. I think they have to keep him if they lose Schmodix. He's the other magic man in there. I can't actually remember I put in my fantasy FL team. I'll get it up in a minute. Yeah, Liam, I know a couple mentioned it in the Discord that were worried that you picked Barnsley. I think that was always going to be a concern. First day of the season as well. They're going to be slow starters. Back to the edge of the box for Derby. Big deflection. Getting a threat on the counter-attack. But this time they got two in the box instead of one. Created a chance. In the end, no. Deflected wide for a corner. Jambo, a European that played in the UK. Did you not tell me if they played in the Olympics? Were you not willing to? You're not going to get a Barnsley win, I'm afraid, Liam. Really surprised with Barnsley. Nearly put Cosgrove in my fantasy team. I think the manager change situation's not ideal for them. I was worried when they did it at the end of last season. Jumbo, just the 4-0 is it in 10? I'm guessing you haven't got that league loaded. That post corner from Derby, just beyond the final man. He gets something on it. Is Wilson again, but I can't keep it in play. I've only played club football in 2 countries domestically. Another tough one. Well, there are certainly goals about tonight, aren't there? I tell you, the other game Charlie was watching earlier was Glentoran v Crusaders in the Northern Irish League. As Blackburn getting away down the left as well. Former crewman Kieran Offboard has scored for Crusaders. Pretty sure he was a former crewman. Unless I'm thinking of someone completely different. That's the opening night over there as well. They start this weekend. I'm really struggling with that, Jambo. There you go. Podcasts, Who Am I's are cursed. I'm surprised. You actually went 2-1 to Barnsley. Wow. Let's have a look at what I've gone for in the Fantasy EFL. Because I really can't remember. I did it weeks ago. Just because you had to set the team up before you could set up a league, which was just silly. So, who have I got? Oh, I had Schmodix in as my skipper. And he's not playing. So my 2 teams I've gone for. Middlesbrough at home to Swansea, I think will win. And I've gone for Doncaster at home to Accrington. Then my team, I've gone for Jensen in goal, the Millwall keeper against Watford, who didn't have much of a goal threat. Drew a lot of games 0-0 towards the end of last season. Ryan Giles for Hull at home to Bristol City, just because I think he might be on set pieces as the Blackburn corner right under the keeper. Headed away to the edge of the box, but it's back in and they've let it bounce. Eventually it is cleared and it's a big punt downfield, but there's a 2-on-2 and that is a good leg race that. Good defending from Blackburn. Helix, my other defender for Huddersfield at Peterborough. Vulnerable to set pieces. Helix, one of the highest scoring defenders in the EFL normally. I've gone for Alfie Doughty and Carlton Morris from Luton. Lath from Middlesbrough. And Schmodix from Blackburn, which is a disaster one. Rob, no problem at all. Thank you very much for coming in and saying hello as well. Do appreciate that. Actually, the EFL graphic, the Fantasy EFL, the game week fixtures and that, it's a good way to see all the fixtures or the current scores from all of the leagues at the same time. It's a really nice setup there. Now, let's catch back up with Jambo's chat here. Airdrie goal getting peppered. Yeah, that could be a heavy defeat tonight. Clue 6. I've played at 14 clubs, if I've counted correctly. I had Giles, but he might not start. I mean, I've already lost the big points with Schmodic, so I wouldn't worry too much. I should mention the winner of that league this year, if you're in the podcast league. If not, come and join it. If you come and join the 29 people that are in there, of which I am now in the bottom 8 that haven't got a point. Thankfully, Charlie will be taking over from the next match day. If you win that league over the course of the season, you will receive an Amazon voucher at the end. So we have got a prize nailed down thanks to an affiliate deal. So there is an incentive to play. Jake, good evening. How are we? How are we feeling about Sunderland's season? Excited? Apprehensive? Worried until signing comes in? Which is it? I know I've said it in a prediction show. I do think Cardiff will win tomorrow. Jambo, so as it stands, £10, but it may increase. It's based on the deal we've got, how many conversions we get. So it could potentially go up, but the minimum it'll be is a £10 voucher for the winner. So I think they said if it's over the first threshold, we then get a £5 voucher for the runner-up as well. And then if we get to the second threshold, which is probably unlikely for the size of our channel, then it'd be 15, 10, 5 for the top 3. But yeah, tenner for the winner guaranteed at the minute. Dutch football started this week as well. Italian Cup. Yep, National League as well tomorrow. Really excited for that. I'm just looking forward to going to random games. So we've already got... I'm going to Wimbledon tomorrow, which I mentioned. I know I went there at the end of last year. We're going to Bromley the last week of August. I'm going to mix in a house trip with Guiseley v Blythe Spartans in non-league in late August. We've already got the September international break planned. England under 21s are at Kenilworth Road as well, which will be great fun. Kane Wilson looking better than the last time he played at this level. Yeah, he's a good player. It was a bit of a jump too quick for him. But obviously, he flew under Rob Edwards, didn't he? Effort from Derby, well over the bar. Air score, but offside. Replay shows him on. Where's VAR when you need it? Don't wish for VAR. You'll only regret it. Jake's going pretty quickly now. Just got the surveyors next week. If that's all good, could well be done before FM25, which would be lovely. And Amy's obviously, we're going up in a couple of weeks, and Amy's got job interviews and things like that. So yeah, it's all really going well, as far as it can be. Charlie Adam, yeah, he played for a lot of clubs. Nation I played in domestically, England and Scotland. How many clubs in each nation will review include? 8. 14 clubs across England and Scotland. It's got to be an older player. It's not Snodgrass, is it? Yeah, Jake, be a Northerner before you know it. Unfortunately, the way the Luton Friday night fixtures have fallen haven't helped me, but so Jambo, mine's not too bad. I can work remotely in my current job, so I won't need to change immediately. I know, Jake, as soon as it's ready, we'll do it. As long as it's before FM25, because I can't afford to lose that month financially. So if it's done before then and we can get in by, say, the second weekend of October, then great. If not, we'll then do it in the middle of November instead. Second derby of the season tomorrow. Bonnie Rig Rose travelling to face Spartans. Nice. There weren't a lot of goals in the Scottish lower leagues, were there? Oh, they got a second goal for Mansfield's been given to Lee Gregory now. Yeah, there weren't a lot of goals in Scotland last week. Kind of ruined its big weekend, didn't it? But then that Dundee derby was really entertaining on the Sunday afternoon. I think Sheffield Wednesday, Plymouth's going to be an interesting game Sunday. I've got a feeling that might be a very hefty home win or a very, very comfortable performance. I was really worried by the way Plymouth got opened up by a League Two team last week. I know it's a friendly, but the performance is where I worry. 13 clubs in England, 1 in Scotland. So someone who just went north for a year. God, Jumbo, this is some who am I, isn't it? Who went up to Scotland for maybe just a year? I'm going to kick myself when you say it, aren't we? But what can you do? Lovely to see so many of you in as well. Thank you very much all for being here. Do chuck a thumbs up if you haven't. It does help on the algorithm and all that. As the Luton game getting a bit of publicity as that ball's into the box from Derby again. They've just got to find a way to commit one of those midfielders into the box. They're only really getting Jackson and Barkhays and Near. They've just got to get someone else up in support. I'm currently at where I started my career, barring one youth club. Oh, Jumbo. Who have we seen this summer who's gone back to their youth team? There were a couple that went back, didn't they? I'm trying to think of names. They're all escaping me now. I'll give you clue 10 in a minute and you'll hate me for it. Thanks, Jumbo. Next week, Rose v Edinburgh City, then City v Spartans. Oh, nice. It's nice for teams in the lower leagues to have that in and around, though. It makes a real difference, doesn't it, for those games? And certainly will help the crowds and the clubs financially too. Thank you for all the extra likes, everyone. It's massively appreciated. Thank you for getting involved as that's broken away for Blackburn. Skipper dives in for Derby, doesn't get on it. Good ball across the box. Just beyond the first striker, just behind the second. Jumbo, I don't even know where to go. I'm trying to think of names. I'm trying to think. I can picture a few transfers. They go, this player's gone back to their club, and I can't remember now. It's going to be someone I did all the research for a week ago. Someone I mentioned in the predictions, I bet. But yeah, for those coming in a bit later on in the stream, let us know what games you're watching or most excited for this weekend. If you're going to one, what game is it? Keeping an eye on the Dutch League. Groningen 4-1 up. Leandro Bacuna got the first from the penalty spot, incidentally, after an early red card. A name that you might associate with English football. No club. Oh, Jumbo, get out. Get out, Jumbo. That's your worst yet. You're a monster. You've done a whole big trail about there being 14 clubs, and none of them are relevant. This is prime Jumbo. Oh, man. I've got to go and find the names again now. It's going to be... I knew it's going to be the bloody Olympic squad, wasn't it? And then it's just, is it a Welshman as well? Is it an Englishman as well? That's bad, Jumbo. Goal Barnsley. There we go. Back in it. Another ball across the boss from Blackburn. I know what it's going to be. I know what it's going to be, Jumbo. It's going to be an England under-21 player who went on to play for Wales. Definitely, because Lansbury and Moses would have played for the youth teams. And then he would have gone to Wales and played with the others. So someone who's converted from England 21s to Wales. Tommy, welcome in. How come it's only you doing the match day predictions now? It's quite simple, really. So myself and Craig used to have jobs that lined up pretty well. So Craig used to work early morning till midday, and I used to work mornings till about 2 o'clock. So we were just available together most of the time. Craig then changed to a full-time 9 to 5. I changed to a job where I'm in some days, but then from very early in the morning till lunchtime, and other days in the evening. So we just didn't line up. So now when we're together and we can do manager specials, we do. Obviously, Craig still does all the pre-season ones, as you saw last week. And we have started recording odd bits as a trio again for international breaks and that. And obviously, Charlie does the interviews. But yeah, it's just purely the jobs and life situations for our employed work. Just have matched up badly post-COVID, unfortunately. Bellamy was one of the players, Liam. You're right with one part of that. It didn't play for Wales, so then it's the Olympic squad, isn't it? England 21s in the Olympics, or Youth England, because Robson Kanu could well have been playing for England Youth as well. So England 21s and Olympics. It's going to be that London 2012 squad. I knew you were going to do it to me again, Jambo. I don't know why I didn't just have the squad up pre-match. Get all the names recited. I'm trying to think who's had 14 clubs out of there, though. Or Scott Sinclair. I was going to say Stephen Coulker. Don't want to say it straight. Jambo, I knew in my heart of hearts it was correct. No, Rob, 14 clubs, he said. 14 clubs. Not Coulker. It's going to be Scott Sinclair then, isn't it? I'm trying to think who else was in there. Was Marvin Sordell was in there, wasn't he? He wouldn't he have 14 clubs? I'm not sure he ever played in Scotland either, because he retired quite early. I can't think of anyone else in there who had loads of clubs or who was famous for it. So it's got to be Scott Sinclair. The Barnsley goal was scored by Luca Cannell, a proper FM channel legend for those who have come over from there. What a man. He gets a goal back for Barnsley and it's 2-1. Queen's Park 1 up against Livingston. Half-time in Scotland. And we've got 10 to the break here. It's been an interesting game so far. Very open. Blackburn creating chances at will. Derby looking a threat on the counter, but not getting quite enough men up in support in the box. Sheffield United 1 up away at Preston, which would be a perfect score if it stays there for me. Mansfield doing really well. And Chesterfield, of course, ahead at home to Swindon. Just seeing what team they've put out tonight. How many of the new boys are in there? Couple. Che Dunkley's at centre-half. Boots in goal. Good team. Oh, they've got Jake Berry on the bench. He was at St Albans a couple of years ago. Luca Cannell memories. Yeah, what a man. What a man. It wasn't me. It was Liam. Liam who got Sinclair, not me. Victor Moses, England youth. Aaron Ramsey, Great Britain Olympics team. Yep. And Bellamy. Yep. Well done. You've done us all there. Plenty of them banger players about the last few months. Yeah. It's interesting. A couple have gone on to have half decent careers as well. And even going back to that era, just that year of FM, like FM21, that head coach save, and then also, I know you mentioned banger, but then the Ballymena Twitch save, like with Trey Hume, obviously came over to you boys a year or two later. There's lots of good players about. I'm really gutted there wasn't a Europa game on normal TV last night. I'm hoping the reason I've put the midweek streams for the playoff round is that at the very least, they'll at least put the Chelsea game on TNT. I'd rather it be the Scotland one or a TNS one. Although the first Thursday of the knockout round, I think there's Notts County v Grimsby as well. It's a decent Barry done. They signed that one from Macclesfield. Ah. Let's have a look. What club are we looking at? Blimey. I'm all over the place there. Chesterfield. Oh yeah, it's a different one. Completely different one. I was thinking he was a sub-keeper. They must not have one on the bench then. Harvey TNS will be on Scorio, no doubt. Yeah, hopefully so. Good ball in from Derby, headed away well. But then Blackburn on the counter. This is where the space opens up. Both teams look a massive threat on the counter, and you can see defensively why both have been potentially tipped for relegation by many. Yeah, well, I don't know about loaning out Jumbo, because obviously you're going to have a squad that's a little bit stretched with Thursday night football, so you probably want to have a few in reserve if you can. It's always good to have those extras in the squad. As we get to the final 5 minutes of the first half, got to be honest, it's flown by in terms of a good game. And also because you guys have been so kind and been here and chatting the whole way through. We will stick with it for the second half. Hopefully you can stick with us, as we have plenty more of these to come. We will do a You're the Ref second half as well, as promised. I'm going to take a quick half-time break in a few minutes too. Very direct from Derby on the counter. That's a pretty average chest back, but just had enough on it. Hey, Jumbo, it certainly looks like it's been decent. Yeah, Harvey, I can kind of see why they've gone with him rather than Sarah Collins, because they're playing direct to try and get him behind. I just hope at home that perhaps they're going to play both of them, because they're going to need to get an extra man in the box who's got a threat in front of goal. You're watching that game, this guy. Fair enough. Yeah, Barnsley Mansfield looks like the game of the night. Thanks to Virgin Media. Unfortunately, I can't watch it. I've lost most of my TV functions now. But thankfully, I can still watch the live bit here. And that's the main thing. I'm interested to see a lot of y'all. I've been having a little nose at the predictions that most of you have gone for in the comments for the weekend. There's a lot of you that have gone for more goals than me. I went quite reserved in terms of the scoring. Ah, Jake, thank you very much. Thank you for popping in to say hello as well. Hopefully for you, the Sunderland performance is promising at the very least. I'm sure there'll be more transfer work there this month. And have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you for saying hello. Jambo, let me get the video for you. So every match day over here, we do a predictions video, and then you can just get yours in the comments as well. If you beat or match the score, you get a shout out in the next video. So that's this week's one for match week 1. Obviously, you'll have lost out on today's games now. You'll only have the 10. Because I'm not going to let you get away with them at half-time of the first game. You get 3 points for a perfect score, 1 point for the correct outcome. And it's always good fun. Sky Sports never mentioned the plus being it breaks your TV. Yeah, blimey has it. And the update to the Virgin Media one's really bad as well. I know Jambo's not a league. The only league we've got is the Super 6 League and the Fantasy EFL League. But yeah, on Virgin Media, the update as well means you have to upgrade the software on the TV box, and it means that the recordings and things are all erased and done via a cloud server instead of individually on the box. So you've got these boxes with massive hard drives, and now nothing's being used on it at all. And obviously those functions aren't even working at the minute. So it's been an interesting start for them. Yeah, it's been an interesting night, hasn't it, so far, Liam? And the good news is goals in pretty much every game, which is the main thing. A lot of people are very upset with my championship season predictions as well. And the weirdest thing this year is obviously we normally get a massive backlash for under predicting teams. Like a lot of people were upset last year with York, who then ended up being awful. A lot of people got upset this year about Colchester, who most people have predicted down there. But this season, the one I found weird is me and Craig were getting stick for putting West Brom in the playoffs, and their fans were ridiculing us. What are you doing putting us in the top 6? It's not something we've ever had before on a podcast, I don't think. Which was quite interesting, but there you go. Ball into the box from Derby from the set piece. Minute to go in the half. They're going to need... I mean, it'd be a lovely time to score, but they're going to need to be a little more aggressive second half. Although that's a great ball in. Beats everyone. Just needed a little flick from the defender, because if it had got a touch on it, it would have probably beaten the keeper. It was one of those balls that touch on it so the keeper can't commit, but then might fly into the back post. And yeah, no, Blackburn survived, despite looking under trouble at times. Harvey, do you still think Blackburn are going down? I mean, I wasn't confident even when I said it, Harvey. They were the safest pick of the teams down there. I thought Sunderland would sign plenty of players before the end. I thought Preston would do some transfer work, which they have. Blackburn, I think the next day then signed Andy Weidman, who I think is a very solid player at this level, will do a job. And obviously John Eustace has proven himself before at this level too, with Birmingham in a very similar situation. But it's going to happen one year. And this guy, I don't think now maybe it will be this one, but it's going to happen one year where they keep selling the top scorer and they can't find a replacement. Now here they are on the left, ball across the box is blocked. It's behind for a corner kick. Last action of the half as we're into stoppage time. But yeah, I don't think they'll be playoff bound, Liam, but I do think they'll probably stay up on a balanced probabilities. But then obviously you've got the owners who have got this court scenario off the field unrelated to football as well, which may have an impact. And obviously they're not reinvesting the money they spend, albeit I will say Blackburn have arguably got the best home kit in the division this year. It's a beautiful kit, that one. Enjoying football, Chairman, too, Jambo? Is it noticeably different, like a really different level? And we will take a break in a minute as well, play a few ads and all of that. If you're happy to leave it running, it does make a difference to the channel. And we'll top up the drinks and everything ready for the second half. Loads of football chat to come. And a halftime whistle does go right on cue. Just a load of quality of life changes. But that's almost as important. Having a polished game is as important as having new features, isn't it? Tommy, do you reckon Luton will sign some players? I don't think it'll be a massive overhaul. Rob Edwards has talked about keeping most of the squad together. I think maybe one or two more might leave. There's a lot of talk about Chong at the minute. If Gahey ends up going to Newcastle, I think we'll lose Mengi. But we need a centre-half. I think where you're going to see the improvements, definitely centre-half. If we keep the striker force we've got, Morris, Adebayo, Ogbene, Jacob Brown to come back. Like, we've got brilliant attacking force, but with just a little bit short of the back. Obviously, the Lockyer situation's unsure, though there is a suggestion he's going to be allowed to start training again soon. Amari Bell's about a month away. Mads Anderson's about a month away. So, at the moment, I think it will be a fullback in the back three again alongside Mengi and Holmes. And Holmes hasn't looked that convincing just yet. So I think maybe a centre-half or two, but I don't think there'll be bundles. It's more players going out at the minute. You can't change your controversy and your conspiracy to Celtic now, Jumbo, just because the Rangers one didn't happen for you. Yeah, some interesting games about on Sunday, actually, with there not being Premier League football, which is great. So I'll probably have a day where we do the morning stream and then just squeeze recordings in between videos. You've got Hibs Celtic at lunchtime. Sheffield Wednesday v Plymouth as well. Cliftonville Portadown's on the iPlayer as well that day. And then late on, you've got a Welsh game, Britain Ferry Pennybont. And then obviously Monday night, I'll be at Kenilworth Road anyway. You'll be able to spot me on the TV for that one. Luton's get playoffs. I think it's really tight up there. This guy, I said it in the pre-season predictions. I think it comes down to who loses the least players. Obviously, since then, Somerville's left Leeds. Nonto possibly will as well. Burnley will lose Trafford, but I'm not sure that's a disaster at the minute. They may lose one or two others. And then who do we lose? But I think it'll be tight between us and Burnley. I still think Leeds win it. Don Robertson is the ref for us. He hated Robbie Nielsen. Yeah, but he might not hate Naismith. He might be glad you've sacked him and give you everything now. Right, we're done out the way. We're going to take the time to come and have a quick couple of minute break. I'm going to top up the drinks, get some snacks and that. If you're happy to leave the ads running, it helps the channel. Don't go anywhere though, because we'll be back with a second half chat. We'll play a couple of You're the Refs. We'll have a bit of fun. And thank you so much for so many of you for being in. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. And we'll catch up with the rest of this chat as well. So, see you in 2. Leave the ads running. And I'll be back in a minute. And we are back. Thank you very much for sticking with us. Appreciate you being here as always in your numbers this evening. It has made a massive difference for our first ever live stream. Let's have a quick catch up with the chat, 'cause there was a little bit before we went off, wasn't there? Conspiracy this year is Rangers, Penn and Celtic against 10 men. Oh, Liam. Scottish football fans, can you imagine how good your league would be if you weren't wasting all your time on conspiracy theories? The way it started, I wouldn't be shocked if Hearts were a bit closer to Rangers this year, unless Shankland's nicked from you by them. But Colin Bay losing at half time is a shock in the second tier of Welsh football, certainly. I'd assume, based on the size of the club, they'd be one of the favourites to come up, would they not? Can't remember the last time he gave us something without going to the monitor, Jamba. There it is. Akshay, welcome in, watching from Mauritius. Blimey. We're going global. Thank you very much for being in. A regular contributor, I remember last season in the prediction shows as well. I hope you're keeping well. I hope you're enjoying and as excited about the new EFL season as we are. And the beauty of Luton being moved to Monday night this week, as I mentioned a bit earlier, means I can tick off a new ground tomorrow. You'll see some little clips from Wimbledon versus Colchester United, who were my favourites to go down. I better keep a low profile after I upset most of their fans in the pre-season prediction show by saying they might go. Jambo, don't. I'm serious now. 3-0 there, Scott, Liam. I think there's a ghost mouse. TV has turned itself off twice in the last half an hour. I don't know what you could possibly be doing, Liam. We'll get the other ref out in a minute as well, once everyone's back in for the second half. But I've really appreciated the support this evening. You've made it far easier for us. Especially after a couple of mad weeks for the channel where everything's gone so well. Apart from all the hate we've been getting for our predictions, but you can't control that. I just hope the second half is entertaining. It could do with a derby goal, really, just to get things flowing again. That's all that's been missing at the moment. And they have had their little chances on the break. The most important thing, though, is that Preston v Sheffield United stays there, because I need to get some points up in the predictions. If I can get a perfect scoring in the first weekend, I'll be happy, whilst feeling rusty and settling back in. It'll be interesting to see if Barnsley can come back into their game as well at 2-1. Chesterfield, I would expect to win now. But I think, as we're waiting for the second half to get going, I'm going to get the order ref out. Let's find ourselves a scenario that we haven't done yet. Oh, there's a page about Mike Riley. I never noticed that. I want to see this. This is great. This is great. Right, so for You're the Ref, for someone who's never played this before, obviously if you've been in my Twitch streams or you followed the podcast years ago, you will have seen these before. We do You're the Refs. They're unique refereeing scenarios, niche situations, and you say what you would do if you're the referee, and we see how that compares to what referee extraordinaire Keith Hackett says he would do in a situation. And this one is a pretty niche one, so come and get involved with it. Let me know in the chat what you would do. Keith might be a Jambo. He's gone incognito. Here we go. A big name striker who has been left out for the past 3 games is sent on in the last 5 minutes. But as soon as he steps onto the pitch, he runs up to a TV camera, pulls up his shirt, and reveals a vest with a crude message about his own manager. The crowd cheer. Do you A, it's a multiple choice this one, do you A, have a quiet word with him, B, show him a booking, or C, show him a red card? I'll read it one more time for you for those coming in. So tell me what you would do if you're the referee in this scenario. A big name striker who has been left out for the past 3 games is sent on for the last 5 minutes. As soon as he steps on the pitch, he runs straight up to a TV camera, pulls up his shirt and reveals a vest with a rude message about his manager. The crowd cheer. What do you do from the following options? A, have a quiet word with him. B, show him a booking. Or C, show him a red card. I am going to point out as well, I know a few of you have picked an option there already. It's a 6-line answer, so I'm going to need you to expand and tell me why you've gone for B. Because you all seem to be going for yellow cards at the minute, but why? Because Keith seems to have given us a lecture about it. L Gaming, welcome in. Lovely to have you along. You must be very excited by the last couple of days with Wrexham, because I predicted you outside the top 6 this year, but a couple of big signings again. Ollie Rathbone at League One level is a very good player. I think might be the catalyst. So there's a chance you sneak in again. This guy, rude and disrespectful, unsportsmanlike conduct. Yep, both in agreement there. Is it officially ungentlemanly conduct now, isn't it? I'm just going to have a read of the answer while you're putting yours in. It's an interesting one. Thoughts on your predictions, L Gaming? I haven't actually seen them yet. Let me have a look. Let's go over. Do you know how much the fee was for Rathbone as well? Because it said record breaking. But do you have any idea what the record breaking fee is? Or no sign yet? Where have you put yourself in the league? That's what I want to know. Anywhere from 6th to 12th, I think mid-table is perfect. Yeah, I think a lot of people are expecting to go up. Again, and League One is a more difficult league, albeit League One's more open than it has been in recent years, and there are less huge teams in there. The Birmingham one's interesting because they should run away with it, but will they? Oh, 400 grand. That's a great figure if you've got him for that. Liam, you're missing a hell of a game tonight. To be honest, I thought there'd be goals, but I didn't think it would be competitive, if I'm being honest. Yeah, you've gone for 6 sneaking in. I could see that. I think I went for you in about 12th place, but again, that group is so close. Also, because of the women's game now, yeah, it's probably got a different title. It would just be unsporting conduct. Yeah, true. Fair point. Yellow cards, take your shirt off, Jambo. Different approach, but the same outcome. I like that. Different thinking. I've got to say, if he doesn't take his top off or fully leave the pitch, it's just a word unless the message I swear. Well, he did say a rude message. I can tell you that the illustration that obviously I can't show for legal reasons says the manager is a cretin. So make of that what you will. But Bolton to go automatic with Birmingham top seed. Craig had Birmingham and Bolton as the top 2. I snuck Rotherham in there under Steve Evans just because, you know, it's what he does. But I wouldn't be shocked to see someone else sneak in the top 2 and then Rotherham be in the playoffs. Charlton, I think, will do really well this year because they've signed 3 of Luton's squad from last year now. I think they'll be invested and involved. Jambo, neither did I. But unfortunately, I have to say it because it's what's written on the illustration. It's not a sort of word. I don't think I would have ever used it in my life before. I don't think I'll probably use it again unless I ever reread this scenario in another situation. Yeah, McAtee, it looked done, didn't it? He's a very good player. I feel a bit sad about him because I was so excited when we got him from Grimsby. But then obviously because we went up straight away, we sort of outgrew him before he got the chance to develop. And obviously he had that big injury in his first season as well. Did well at Barnsley last year. Just a bit of a shame. Because I actually think if we'd have just stayed in the Championship, he probably would have made it in the squad by now. But I can get him wanting football. He's not going to get ahead of Morris. He's not going to get ahead of Adebayo. Probably won't get ahead of Woodrow or Jacob Brown. And you don't want to be 5th choice striker. So that's the reason he's gone out permanently as a bit of an older player. And then obviously Joe Taylor's going out on loan as well as a younger one to potentially Huddersfield. Macca, welcome in. I hope you're well. Thank you very much for being in. Big win for Sterling. First day of the season, wasn't it? More of those to come for you, hopefully. Tommy, what are your thoughts on the MK chairman selling the club? I sort of mentioned it a little bit at the start. I can understand the reasoning. And it's a potential to be a massive growth for the club. As they go from distance here, Blackburn, second half just kicked off straight at the keeper. Yeah, Macca, I didn't think that would be a competitive game, to be honest. But I think Scott Brown's airside will be right up there this year. Yeah, going back to MK, they've got to take the franchise stuff aside. They've got to take advantage of a generation of fans that is potentially there. Milton Keynes is a new built city with loads of young families, loads of kids. Get the kids in for cheap tickets like Luton did when they were in the National League and get them there. Get them in the ground, and then when they become adults, you'll have a generation of 10, 15,000 fans that you've brought through with you that have grown up in the city, only know MK Dons as always being a club. And I feel they've missed an opportunity over the last 20 years. And now with rich ownership, maybe they can give those tickets away. I'll tell you what they really need to do, though, for my sake, is they need to open the balconies on those hotel rooms again. So if you get a pitch facing view, you can then go out and watch the match. It's a scandal you have to pay for a separate ticket as well. As Blackburn on the edge of the box. Again, Derby don't get it clear. They've started this half well as well, just as they did in the first. This guy, you've gone Birmingham champions, Huddersfield second. Interesting. I didn't even sneak Huddersfield in my top 6 in the end, so I was worried about the squad. But then again, if they get Joe Taylor from us, they'll be right up there. You saw what he did at Lincoln last season, or the second half of last season. Rotherham Black. This guy, that is my other 3 in the playoffs, the Charlton, Bolton and Blackpool. The only other ones I had in there was Peterborough, just because they always sneak in. So yeah, if you take out Rotherham there. Basically, I've pushed Rotherham 1 up from you, dropped Huddersfield out, and then gone for the other 4 in the playoffs. Again, I've been watching the Mansfield game. Yeah, I predicted them to go down, and then they went and got Newport's top scorer, which really annoyed me. Oh yeah, I just think Blackpool's a safe prediction with Neil Critchley. They've signed a couple of good players as well. I think that sort of 5th, 6th to maybe 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th is going to be quite close. As Derby get on the break again and win a corner. They do look a threat in wide areas. Yeah, Barnsley. I'm a little bit surprised after they sacked their manager 1 game for the end of last season. Struggled in the playoffs. Bit of a weird one. Ayr beat Airdrie 4 times last season. Ayr just a better side, are they not? I mean, they look really strong this season, to be fair. Oh, the corner's nearly gone in. How has that not gone in? The corner from Derby. It swings viciously. Pears gets something on it on the line, the keeper. I think it then gets palmed onto the post. And somehow stays out on the line. There's players diving all over and around to get there. The centre forward for Blackburn's down on his haunches. Did he get something on it? It's a great delivery. Pears gets a very good hand on it on the line. Then gets a foot on the second one. And then the third one's blocked away. How on earth is that not in? What a corner. Oh, to be fair, the second one's a stupendous save. Wonderful work. And now there's players diving around all over the place. I've clipped you saying that. Where do I find it? Kind of half noticed Schmoddick's on the bench for Blackburn. No, Macca. The manager said he's not fit enough and mentally prepared for the game. So basically he's leaving next week, Macca. I think is the answer to that. Put my predictions up for all the English divisions once I know he's in them. No problem. Come and get involved in the prediction videos. They've been good fun. Ayr almost score again. I would have said Airdrie were the better of the 2 sides. They're one of the favourites to win the league. Are they? I mean, I automatically thought Ayr would be right up there. I thought Falkirk looked good last week against Queen's Park. I thought it was a good game, to be honest. I know you won't like me saying that, but... yeah, we will do the order ref answer now. But then we had this situation for years, didn't we, Macca, where Dunfermline always used to be the favourites, and I always used to say, nah, they're going to be near it. I think only 1 year they did, but then they couldn't defend set pieces and got battered in the end. Britain was neither on the post nor not on the post. No, it was a bit of a weird position, wasn't it? Considering Gay was then covering the position that Britain went out to cover. Keith Moore showing his quality, blasting it over the bar. He'll do well this year. You're right, I don't like you saying that. I didn't think you would. Here is the answer to the order F scenario. And I want to say a big well done because it is B. You pretty much all got it right. But most of you got the reason wrong. Wasn't relating to the conduct. It was relating to the lifting of the shirt. So book the striker and restart play in the appropriate manner. Players must always remember that raising the shirt above the head, which I don't actually think he mentioned in his scenario, so Keith has let us down here, but raising the shirt above the head is a cautionable offence. In this case, the authorities would deal with the content of the slogan later on. So he's saying don't deal with that bit in a game. You've just got to give the automatic booking. I beat Harvey on a You're the Ref. I think, to be fair, Keith Hackett, I've just read the scenario again. He didn't mention it. He didn't mention the fact that it had been raised above the head. Actually, even in the illustration, it's not really fully above the head either, so a bit of a weird one. But those of you who have done a You're the Ref before, you know Keith Hackett never makes it easy or consistent for us. As Blackburn breaking left side of the box. Oh, he's straight at the keeper. Poor finish. I've got to say, both sides look poor defensively. Gay's been a really real handful, but I'm already getting vibes of like the Nicholas Jackson of the Championship. Because he's missed 2 really great chances now. Yeah, Harvey didn't help you out there. I'll give you that. I mean, it's a miracle it's only 1-0, really. Gay's had 2 great chances. Derby have just... I don't know how they didn't score from that corner. It could really be 2 or 3-1. Which would be much better for my prediction of 2-2 going towards the latter stages of the game. He didn't, Liam. He just goes moaning on TalkSport about it most of the time now. Which is a weird one. I can only thank you so much for the support tonight. I didn't expect to see so many of you in. And I know a load have come over from the FM channel. And hopefully you will in future ones as well, because it's going to be good fun. Couldn't find the Belgian game anywhere tonight, though I see it's 0-0. Yeah, I tell you what, the Dutch game looks a cracker, doesn't it? That's where the real action's been. That one's on Triller TV, whatever that is. Oh, the goal line technology for that corner. Half the ball was over the line. Crucial timing. Ainsley Pears to get back there. You remember we had a live stream a few months ago on the FM channel where he made an awful error. Was it against Sheffield Wednesday, wasn't it? To take the relegation battle to the final day. Just madness. Still no other goals elsewhere though. And Queen's Park Livingston seems to be the competitive one in Scotland. As Derby break down the right, ball in. Oh, great diving header from the defender. Mendes Lang was ready to swing a boot at it, but the defender's in. Brave header. Gets it away. Really class. Steve, my main issue was I was waiting for the Twitch notification. I think if we started the podcast ones on Twitch, we would have no audience at all. Obviously, at least we've got a bit of a regular watching base here. Some of that, it was on ESPN Plus, which is on the caustic. Groningen looked decent, yeah. I mean, it's not the strongest of opposition in the league, I would imagine, but very good performance. And I think it was a 5th-minute red card, wasn't it, which made a difference. And obviously from there, it was going to be a very one-sided game. Derby playing much better now. They are. They started both halves very slowly, the first 5 minutes. Gay's had a great chance early in both halves. But Derby should have scored from the corner. And I've got to say, I maybe don't feel that bad about either of my relegation tips now. If Gay starts scoring those chances, I might. But to be honest with you, Derby are starting to get on the ball a bit more, and both of them look really vulnerable to the counter. Like, Derby have just given it away in the middle there. And they're now so open to Blackburn's attack with a 3-on-3. So I think both of them are very vulnerable defensively. I don't see either picking up many points on the road this year. It's just whether Eustace can replicate what he did with Birmingham at home. That might be the bigger question. No worries, Jambo. Sporting Lisbon 2-up at half-time, so the Portuguese league has started well. Midtjylland 2-up in the Danish league. Sheffield United 2-0. No! The perfect score leaves me again. And for all of those people who slated me for saying Preston will be in a bit of trouble this year and they can't score goals, at least I've got that on it. But Hamer as well. What a player at this level. Saw how good he was for Coventry in that playoff final when we came up. Just want to get an update on the Glentoran Crusaders game as well in Northern Ireland. Still 1-0 Crusaders. Started to get a bit tactical and lower scoring in that league, but there are a few names about out there now. Niall McGinn's playing for Glentoran tonight. Someone a number of you will recognise from England and Scottish football. Devastating, this guy. I keep missing out on perfect scores. It was my story last season. I even thought about trying to fix it and moving the perfect score to 2 points so I'd win every week, but I'm not going to do that. Outrageous goal from Hamer. We'll see it on here in a minute, won't we? They showed the first one. As Derby getting down the left again, they're creating chances now. Great ball across the box. Well defended again at the front post. I tell you what, Derby are piling the pressure on here. Another chance out wide to put the cross in. Delivered to the back post, cleared away. But now Gay's almost away. I mean, they're going for it this half, aren't they? Yeah, Steve, I had Preston, I think, 19th or 20th, which I got a lot of stick for. I do feel if Blackburn survive, they're one of the ones who could drift in. I don't think Pompey will be miles clear. Oh, what a delivery. They've got to get Collins on. They've got to get Collins on in the box because he'll be meat and drink for him. He'll just be in there tapping them in 6 yards out. He did it for Luton for years. They've got to get another man in there. Maybe Barkhazen off because they're getting down the left at will. They're putting unbelievable crosses in, but no one's attacking the front post. That's one off the bingo card. An ironic goal of the season shout on the opening day. Yep. Gay's gone down injured now, holding his hamstring for Blackburn, which is a worry because I know he's missed his chances, but he's been a real threat. Might get to see half an hour of Schmodix after all. Here's the Hamer goal. Let's have a look. I'm just watching because the Preston keeper's got the ball at the start of this move. Oh, no, keeper. That's not a goal of the season contender. That's awful goalkeeping. What are you doing? Well, Sheffield United are back in positive points then, aren't they? Job, welcome in. Thank you for popping into the chat. Where do you think Norwich will finish this year? So I put them in 8th place. If you want to, from our pre-season championship prediction video, in the comments, there's a link to my blog where I've done the 1-24 table for the leagues. But yeah, Norwich 8th. I think they're one of the 3 or 4 sides that could sneak into the playoffs. I think the new manager's good. I do like a couple of the signings they're making as well. But I just think they might fall a little bit short because I think Middlesbrough will improve this year. I think all 3 relegated sides will be good. Leeds will still be up there for me. Coventry, without that FA Cup run, would have been in there. And West Brom are always solid under Corberan. So yeah, I think it'll be close maybe in 6th. I went for West Brom, but maybe with Norwich, and I had Coventry in that as well for that 6th place. They're my 3 that maybe fight for it. As Blackburn finally get a relenting of the pressure. I think Middlesbrough get playoffs. I've got to be honest. I think there may be one more goal scorer away, but if they get Tommy Conway in, I'd put them as a shoo-in probably. Last year they had an incredible injury crisis, lost all their goals, still nearly managed it. Yeah, but you look at Preston last season, people forget they picked up 22 points in their first 8 games. They were top of the league. They then picked up 13 points in the next 18 matches. They only really had good runs against the bottom 8 sides. Against the rest, they were really poor. And they very rarely score goals as well against them. Against the top 15 of the league. So, watch out for them. Liam Thompson should come on soon along with Collins. Oh, they've got to go for Collins. They've got to. You've got to get someone attacking the front post from these crosses. Jambo, Salazar training with Hearts after more paperwork completed. Oh, lovely stuff. Good to have him in there, isn't it? Schmodix is about to come on. Andy Vyman as well. Looks like Blackburn are going to fight fire with fire by getting a few attacking players on. Maybe trying to have their own threat on the counter. I mean, Dolan's been quiet second half. And to be honest, they're not getting out their own half. So at least Vyman will do the shift defensively as well. No goals in the lower league games in the second half. Still 2-1 Mansfield. Still 1-0 Chesterfield. Score still the same in Scotland as well. Newtown 3-1 up on the first night of the Welsh season. And Blackburn have a chance to break away, but Derby aren't letting them out their own half. Ozzo's looking great in the middle, making me kind of upset that Luton didn't manage to get him in the end. As he works it left to Mendes-Lang. He's got support from the fullback who might whip this early. Bit much on it to the back post. Nodded across the box and wide. Couldn't quite get it across goal, Wilson. It's all Derby at the minute. Dolan needs to come off. To be honest with you, this guy, I think he was promising for the first 15, 20 minutes. Obviously, his goalie was just in the right place. But the second half, he's not had a touch. He's not tracking the fullback. But they are getting in a lot down the other side. So I wonder if he maybe goes for like Vyman instead of perhaps I don't know, maybe Vyman instead of Hedges, a bit more defensively disciplined. But then Hedges is pretty good at it, isn't he? So yeah, not sure what to expect there. Penalty, yeah, 5-0. Wow. I'm surprised that Maka said Airdrie were one of the favourites. I really didn't think that would be the case. Yeah, Gay for Schmodix is the obvious change. There's no doubt that'll be one. It's just who the other subs for. Oh, there's 3 coming on now by the looks of it, is there? Sure, there's 3 with the training kit off there. Yeah, there is. And obviously, a lot of the pre-season now, clubs don't play more than 60 minutes for the player, even in the last friendly. So there'll be a few that are still on that sort of training regime. So Schmodix is coming on. Oh, the new Japanese signing. Do you remember John Eustace in the week saying, oh, I don't really know much about him. It was just sort of signs. And Andy Vyman as well as the third one. But they've got to do something to turn the screw because it's coming the way it's going at the minute. Airdrie fans walking away. I'm not surprised, Liam. All that optimism gone in an hour. As Derby getting down the left as well. Elder's done really well there. I tell you what, I know it's only 1-0. This has been a cracking game of football. As Dolan, EA's giving it away again. It's got to be Dolan and Gahey going forward that come off. Though as I say that, Blackburn win the ball for a counter. To be honest, they could just do with keeping the ball for a minute, but they are going for a quick break down that left-hand side. And it's given away again. Derby looks so much fresher, so much fitter. Jops, I'm actually going to tick off a new ground tomorrow because obviously I'm a Luton season ticket holder and our game's been moved to Monday night, which is Luton v Burnley. So tomorrow I'm going to Plough Lane for the first time to see Wimbledon versus Colchester. So I'm going to tick off a new ground live. I think we'll be probably in the clubhouse bar pre-match. We'll probably watch Oxford Norwich, which will be the main TV game there. And then I probably won't catch a late one because of it. But yeah, I'm going to go to a live game tomorrow. We're seeing Wimbledon v Colchester, which there will be little clips of that on the channel. What about everyone else who's popped into the chat later on? What games are you planning to watch tomorrow? Yeah, this guy's kind of been the complete reversal, hasn't it? Blackburn dominated the first half in terms of possession and wide areas, and second half's the other way round. It is Hedges who's gone off in that wide area. Again, maybe defensive discipline. Number 11's also off. Who's 11? Is that Dolan? Gay's number 9, so it's not him. No, Dolan's number 10. Didn't see him go off. I'm going to have to get the squad numbers up again, aren't I? Rankin Costello was the other sub. I'm surprised Dolan stayed on. He looks a little bit fatigued, to be honest. I should have been patient. He's walking off right now. Jambo, you're watching Leeds Pompey tomorrow. Gillingham, Carlisle, Dundee Hearts. Sounds a good trio for me. What's the League One game in the evening? What one have they actually picked for the main TV game? Have a look. Birmingham Reading. Oh, that's not a surprise. Peterborough Huddersfield looks a good game on paper. Orient Bolton could be interesting. Wigan Charlton I'll probably watch on the way home. That looks a fun game. Yeah, this guy, you're ahead of me on that. I'm surprised he's gone off, to be honest. I thought it would be Dolan. Barkhazen's gone off as well for Derby. They snuck that sub under the radar, didn't they? I didn't notice that one. I didn't see you come on over. We'll have a look in a sec. You were taught by Ryan Hedges' mum in primary school. Blimey. That's a claim to fame and a half. That added to the fact you're going to be an FM soon, I'm sure. So we can also... The year you get into FM, either on Twitch or YouTube, I'm going to do some form of Welsh save so you can give a penalty against me and I can be furious about it. It's got to happen. As Derby win another corner, the wide attacking has not relented. Oh, it is James Collins on. That's what we wanted to see. Luton legends. Watch him score. Swindon score. Interesting. Thought Chesterfield would win that game. Swindon looked poor, to be fair, in terms of the squad. Corner taken short. Surprised by that as well. Change of angle, though. Great delivery. Back post. Free header and in. 1-1. Derby County equalise. Is it Curtis Nelson? It is. I tell you what, Derby County deserve that second half. They've been magnificent. And you know what? I'm not shying away from my Blackburn relegation pick now. And I've even remembered to update the score. So 1-1 between Chesterfield and Swindon. And now 1-1 in the Derby game. It's come from that wide area again. Set piece taken short. Mendes-Lang flicks it up to the back post. I mean, what sort of mismatch is that in the marking? You've got a 2-on-1 at the back post to start with, which is not what you want to see, is it? But Hayden Carter, he's left there against two. Curtis Nelson's obviously massive in the air. And they've got an extra man there as well, so he's tracking both runners, and they're doing this zonal shape, which just means that you've got the run and leap on them. First goal since December, but a fully deserved equaliser. And there you go. James Collins on. Difference made immediately. Thoroughly deserved. They've been really, really good second half. It must be said. Now what do they do? Do they sit back a little bit? Or do they keep going? We've got our answer from the kickoff because they try and go quickly down the left. Fortunately, it's over here. I look forward to it, but I want you to praise me if I give a penalty to you. Oh, Harvey, of course. I'm a fair man, if nothing else. Note made. Target set pieces against Blackburn. Yeah, I mean, it's not even just the set pieces. We mentioned this in the Euros watch-alongs a lot, didn't we, over on the Twitch channel, which is teams dealing with attacking from wide areas. It's sort of coming back into fashion now in international and lower league football a bit. Quick counter-attacking football in wide areas. And because teams have got so used to the narrow game in the last 2 or 3 years, they don't know how to deal with it. And the teams, it was no surprise that a lot of the pleasant surprises or the teams that overperformed in Euros, they were the ones that were best attacking in wide areas. And I wonder if we're going to start to see the same in EFL again. And obviously I hope so from a Luton point of view. Because to be honest, that's where we were such a goal threat in the Premier League. Luton had the record for the most consecutive games with a goal scored. And it was because we just created so much out wide, flew men forward from the wing-back roles and got 2 big target men in the box. It's not rocket science, is it? It's just teams aren't used to dealing with it now. Nelson at the other end tries to shepherd it out pretty poorly. It's a free kick. I think they were fairly fortunate to get that. It's been a really good game, though. I mean, my excitement for the EFL season has not dwindled based on this performance. And that's the main thing to come out of it. I've just seen a couple of reliable sources saying offer for Taif Chong. Not what we wanted. Hopefully there won't be too many more of them. Ah, Jambo, thank you very much for popping in. Appreciate the horrendous who am I from earlier on. Who's bid for Chong? To be honest, I don't know which club the bid's from. It just says unnamed, but there were 2 or 3 being linked with him, it has to be said. So I wouldn't be shocked if he's got a couple of Premier League suitors there. Let's have a look and see if there's any... I think it'll just be speculation beyond that, to be honest. Yeah, there's nothing to say which clubs. M3157, that's not a bad crowd. This guy, Blackburn needs to go on a part the bus defensive role and then start to go on a counter-attack. Yeah, it's quite a weird one, this guy, because if you go back a couple of years ago, even the start of last season when he was at Birmingham in this similar situation, as Dolan breaks down the right, it's a great tackle in the middle. Magnificent from the skipper. And then Mendes-Lang makes an absolute hash of it. And now Blackburn away on the edge of the box. Chance to get in down the right. Imagine he scores. He's put 2 on his backside. Into the back post. Free header. And the offside flag does not go up. Andy Vyman on his debut. I tell you what, I said it, didn't I? They signed him the day after I predicted them to go down, and I was a bit worried about it. I mean, it's so harsh on Derby, who have been completely dominant second half. Into the back post. Was it the Schmodix assist, I think? I tell you what, I think Schmodix might have got the assist here, which may well help me with my my fantasy faux pas of captaincy. Oh, it wasn't. It was Hayden Carter. Well, that's disappointing. It's a lovely goal, though. Carter, I mean, the big defender just puts two on his backside with a little Cruyff turn. Flicked into the back stick. And it was, tell you what, it was onside because of the two fullbacks who were on the ground. And that's what's played him on. Blackburn Rovers back ahead. Let's get the score updated. It is 2-1 to the home side. But you know what that means with Derby on the attack now? You know what that means? It means that I'm one goal away from the perfect score that I wanted. Hayden Carter, what a player. We had him in FM22 in our legendary Viborg save. He was brilliant. But yeah, going back to your tactical thing, this guy. At home, Birmingham were quite aggressive under Eustace. Again, playing high and wide. But then as soon as they went away from home, they just parked the bus. They had a really poor record, but they just tried not to lose the goal difference, essentially. There's a long ball forward from Derby. I just hope they can find their intensity again from before the goal. Because if they can, not really sure about Collins playing out on the left here. It's not really helping them, but... Because Elder there, he's put another good ball in, but it's blocked behind for a corner, but there was no one in the box. Yeah, I wish they'd signed him before the prediction show, because I probably would have gone for a bolder call elsewhere if not. Ebou Adams is on for his debut in the middle. Another good signing for Derby. And I can only say again, thank you so much to so many of you being here. So many likes on the video, on the stream as well. Makes a massive difference to us. As the ball's into the front post again, not the best corner. Headed back out wide though, and out for a corner, goal kick, sorry, just over here. Really good game of football though, exactly what we expected it would be, entertainment personified. And two teams seeing it as an opportunity to get points. Elsewhere, a quick update on the scores. In League 2, it is still Chesterfield 1, Swindon 1. In League 1, it is Barnsley 1, Mansfield 2. That goal's now been given back to Cooper again. Sheffield United 2-0 up against Preston, with the two centre midfielders scoring the goals. I didn't realise Alfie Gilchrist had gone there as well. I completely forgot about that one. And then Blackburn, of course, just gone 2-1 up here. In Scotland, Ayr 5-0 up. Queen's Park v Livingston 1 apiece. And our next live stream, if you enjoyed this one, is in 2 weeks' time. We're doing Sheffield Wednesday versus Leeds. A big Yorkshire derby. Danny Roll's side finished the season on fire. Daniel Farker's side always tend to start slowly. That's going to be a game. Trust me on that. But we've still got 15 to go in this one. And Blackburn are finding spaces now on the counter. Ah, Rob, thank you very much for the subscribe. Appreciate that. And for those of you who want a bit of nostalgia, do you recognise what that bit of music is that we've put on the alerts this season? Let me know if you recognise what that is. You'll need to be, I would imagine, at least my age to know where that's from. But hopefully you know where that nostalgia is. If you're 30 plus, you'll probably know. Especially if you're a big football fan. Yeah, I tell you what, if the whole EFL season is this entertaining, then I'm happy for it. A lot of the Friday night games were disappointing last year. I wonder if Sky will change their approach in which games they pick. Probably why they've gone for a lot of Luton. Oh no! Oh, you lucky, lucky boy. The Derby defender, he's the last man back. He slips on the ball. Gives it straight to the Blackburn last man, but then he slipped and wasn't able to get in as a result. It was a Hashi in the middle. He's now got the ball again. First touch is terrible. There's two in the middle, but he plays it wide to the right. Cut back to Schmodix. In for 3-1. And Sammy Schmodix. He's still getting booed by some of his fans. I mean, what are you doing? Sammy Schmodix makes it 3. And my captaincy decision is not completely lost now. I'm sure plenty of others will have had him too. It is Blackburn 3, Derby 1. Cashin got away with it a minute ago, but not there. And that's where it came from, unfortunately. Really good counter-attack down the right. Derby have committed men forward. It's cost them. It was a 4-on-3 for Blackburn. It at first looked like the Hashi had taken a bit too long, but he laid it right to Britton. Cut back really well to pick out his man. Didn't just flash it across the box. Looked up, found Smodics, who peeled into that position. And he's off the mark again in the Championship. Last year's top scorer. Really good finish to make it 3. Yeah, it's a weird celebration, but you could just see a few fans not happy with him there. And to be honest, can the fans really say much if he goes? I get you want your best players to say, but he's earned an opportunity. He's at an age where he's not going to get many more. You've got to understand it. I think Paul Warne arguably can be accused of being a bit too aggressive here in chasing this game. But 20 minutes ago, from where Derby were at 1-0 and dominating, no one would have seen this. No one would have seen it. Vyman's first touch, that goal, yeah, really good, isn't it? He's just a good Championship player. Obviously, he was at the Euros. I know he didn't get on, but he's a good footballer at this level. And he'll be a useful player for them. Derby now breaking away down the left. If they score one here, it could get interesting. Mendes Lang delivers. Great ball in again. The quality of delivery tonight has been sensational. Really, really good. To be honest, I don't worry for Derby at home the way they're playing here. I don't worry for them at all. I think both sides will be good at home and poor away. I don't think he'll stay, this guy. I've got to be honest with you. I think someone will offer big money. Oh, the Blackburn keeper. He's underhit his pass out. Gets away with it. It's a silly foul from Jackson, I think. He has got that in him, the keeper. I'm just like last week, Liam. BBC lose feed in extra time. Yeah, well, it did happen last week, didn't it? It's strange that it's happened twice in a row. Weird celebration, but I suppose if you boo, it's justified, Harvey. Yeah, agreed. Blackburn have got good home form and off to a strong start. Yeah, and John Eustace, as I mentioned, with Birmingham, that was the cornerstone of them surviving. If he goes to the Prem, it's completely fine to go. Oh, what if he goes to a top Championship side, though, where he can double or triple his money, make Blackburn good money so they don't lose him on a free like they did with Brereton Diaz. They've got a history of letting them all go, haven't they? But he was linked with Ipswich, wasn't he? Which would be a great deal for him. Full time, 5-0 to Ayr. Just a little confidence booster. I really think Scott Brown will do a good job there. I think he did okay with Fleetwood, to be fair. I think he got maybe a little harshly treated. Yeah, if Ipswich make a big offer, I'm not sure he stays. You've got to take your chance. And Blackburn are away again. 3-on-4 at the back. Derby are playing now with a narrow front back 3. They're keeping 2 men wide in Vyman and Dolan. And then Ahashi has come on and he's looked a threat through the middle, in fairness. As well as Sammy Schmodics, who was waiting for the pass there a little. But yeah, looking a real threat. Full-time 1-1 Queen's Park Livingston. Not the best start for Queen's Park. In a bit of a similar position to you, as I've got Rowe as my captain. He's been linked with Leeds, so I hope he starts tomorrow. Fair enough. Yeah, there's a few players being linked away, isn't there? And that's the thing the first couple of weeks of the season. You never know who's going to play. I just sort of had it as a certainty that Schmodic would play and score a goal, which in the end he has done. So I'll still get a few points, but not as good as it could have been. It's getting into a frustrating stage for Derby now, giving away free kicks, silly ones and that. It's what we make of the rest of the weekend now, isn't it? I forgot Rudy Gested's in. What a man. I will do a quick update on the Fantasy EFL, see how it's going. Maybe Rudy Gested is spotting all these brilliant signings from elsewhere. Maybe he's the genius behind the operation. No other goals in the other games in the EFL, so we have definitely got the highest scoring game in the night. In the end, it's delivered, which is the main thing. I'm currently on 14 points because of Schmodix, but I would imagine most people will have had him. I think he was in about 50% of the teams, so hopefully it's not all the teams in my league. Pretty much is, yeah. Oh, no, to be fair, there's a few that haven't got him in. Oh, it's a flying tackle from James Collins. Might get a book in here. Strikers tackle that. I was going to say there's someone top of the league by a mile, but they've got 2 players in the team. One of them's Hamer as skipper, which probably helps them out. Then they've got Armour Hodzic, who's getting a clean sheet as it stands. I did think about putting a Sheffield United player in for that, but I did go for a goal threat. To be fair, that's harsh on Collins. That's a great tackle. He's done nothing wrong there. He's gone in low, wins the ball, doesn't touch the man. That's never a foul. Is it 57% in the end? Can I still find out even though I've got him on? It's just how many captained him as well, I guess, then, isn't it? And whether he can get another one now. Derby have opened up. Ah, great, Tom. Thank you very much for the subscription. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the new YouTube subs that are flying in at the moment. You do make a big difference. Liam, you got Schmodix as captain as well. Yeah, I could see it being a safe pick this weekend. Who's everyone got as the vice captain then? Because I've got Morris, in the hope that Burnley will concede if nothing else. I think it'll be a game where both score. I was tempted to go Latilaf, but again, I'm not sure. I might yet change my vice captain to him. I'm going to trust Morris. Because Morris being penalty taker as well, maybe we'll get one that way. Oh, Blackburn keeper comes, doesn't get there. It's across the box and cleared. I mean, there's some people who are on massive points tonight. Oh, but then there are some people who have literally picked everyone from tonight's game, which is why. So you're not going to be able to know during the match days. Blackburn on a counter again. This time it's a 3-on-2. Into the box. Ahashi's in. Oh, dinks the keeper. It's beautiful. And Schmodix gets the assist. There we go. That's what we wanted. It's 4-1 Blackburn. I tell you what. John Eustace might not have known much about this Ahashi. Boy, does he look a threat. Rudy Gesteda's maybe pulled a gem out the bag here. Because this is a player who looks really classy. He's quick. He carries the ball. He makes good runs off it as well. Didn't we sign the wrong Japanese international in January? But it's another breakaway where Derby have just committed loads forward. It's going to be a tough learning lesson for them. They're left 3-on-2 defensively again. Schmodix really does well. Dolan actually does well as well, to be fair. He holds his run back a little bit and just allows that diagonal ball. So goal and assist for Schmodix off the bench. Which Collins this guy have you got? Which Collins as captain, sorry. There's a few about in the EFL. Oh, Hashi might be one to get in the team. Blackburn are staying up, folks. Hashi looks a world beater. Adebayo, vice captain, Liam. Interesting shout. I mean, the only reason I went Morris over Adebayo is because Morris is penalty taker as well. But there's a good chance from open play that Adebayo is the bigger threat. Harvey, you've gone Mullin. Yeah, the only thing I thought was last season, Wickham had a lot of low-scoring games at the start. But then I appreciate Wrexham turn most games into high-scoring ones. But then they do start slowly at times as well, so... Derby have made another change. Just shoring it up a little now with Forsyth coming on. Oh, James Collins. That's a shame. I thought, again, he might start tonight, but... I don't get why they've brought him on off the left. That doesn't seem to make sense. But yeah, tough learning lesson. Going for the game away from home in the Championship. But I'll tell you what, if Blackburn do keep Schmodix and they've got a Hashi fit most of the year, they look like a proper threat for now. And I mentioned it a bit earlier on, didn't I? There's always 1 or 2 big scoring home wins in the opening weekend of the season. And Blackburn, despite the fact they were outclassed for the first 20 minutes of the second half, are going to get one of them, as that's a booking, I think, for Tyrese Dolan there, tracking back. You've got to credit John Eustace. The subs he made were the right ones at the right time, and they look phenomenal. They made a real difference in this game. So big credit to him. Did anyone know where that music was from as well, from the alerts? If you're over 30, you might. Tyrese Dolan's coming off now. Who's going to be that Blackburn sub? Danny Bath's getting a debut. Oh, that's a nice moment for him. He'll go in at the back. Good professional added to the group as well. John Eustace is going to do it again, isn't he? I still worry about Blackburn defensively on the road. They've been carved open a bit easily here. And it's been done by that quick free kick as well. Very clever one. Down the right-hand side, cross into the back post. Collins up, keeper punches. Does well in the end, but it's still not cleared. Another chance to cross. Nice ball on the edge of the box. Corner kick, Derby. They're still pushing. Fans behind the goal do not look happy. Not much cheer amongst them at the minute, but do you know, it's not been the worst performance. First half was competitive. First 20 minutes of the second half, they were brilliant. And it's only because they've been a bit too aggressive in going for the game that it's cost them. Another good corner delivery. Headed in. It's 4-2. Who got the final touch on that? Collins missed it. It went past him. Caden Jackson, they're panning into, so I presume it's him who's got it. Let's have a look. See better from here. No, it's Kane Wilson. Kane Wilson gets the header, and it's a pretty good one as well, to be fair. And another defensive set piece. This is my point, Harvey. Like, I know everyone's going to come after this weekend and say, oh, I bet Blackburn aren't going down now, are they? Or they're not going to be in trouble now. But they've defended really poorly from wide areas and set pieces. And they're playing at home to one of the other 6 or 7 sides that's going to be down there with them. And whilst they've still got key attackers, say what you want about Schmodix, he's got a goal and an assist. Without him, it's 2-1. Or it's 2-2 now, isn't it? But what a game of football to start the EFL season. We can't complain about that. And Paul Warren will learn plenty from this. What I will say is neither of these sides are going to be picking up many points on the road. We'll find out how many minutes we've got added on. Is it still 2-0 Sheffield United? Still 2-1 to Mansfield, and still 1-1 between Chesterfield and Swindon. There's a yellow card as Derby stop a counter-attack. Probably should have done that a few times earlier on. I think it's Cashin, is it, who gets the booking here? Ahashi breaks. Yeah, they're petrified of him. What a little player he looks. I wonder how long before he starts becoming a marked man. Best first game in a good few years. I tell you, the last one that was this good, Harvey, was Luton 3, Middlesbrough 3 in 2019, wasn't it? Ian, welcome into the chat. Schmodix must be half fit. Played little in pre-season. Yeah, Eustace said pre-match that he wasn't really fit in terms of, I think, both physically and mentally. Because obviously, there's been a lot of talk about him. He's been linked with Premier League moves, but he looks pretty good in this half an hour, doesn't he? Albeit against a defence that's chasing it and left a 2-on-3 or 3-on-4 most times. But even with Ahashi, he looks a bit of a gem. Vyman's a good player. Dolan, can they keep hold of him? Could still be a solid season yet. Board takeover, so transfer embargo. I need a whole new team 2 weeks before the season. Liam, the ways of FM, eh? That's how it is. I haven't played FM since Tuesday, I don't think. It was the last video I recorded. I think I've played FM since. Won't be playing it tomorrow. Thank you everyone for being in as well. Massive support on our first ever live stream. I've got to be honest, I was absolutely petrified about it, but I shouldn't have doubted you. You've all been brilliant. Loads over from the FM streams, loads over from the podcast predictions. It's been great. As Derby put a big ball forward, they couldn't get another, could they? Blackburn not dealing with it well again. Second header's won. And Derby have got a chance to put the cross in from the left. There's 5 minutes added. The score here, it could be interesting. The cross is cleared away to the left-hand side. And get one with 2 or 3 to go as that ball's delivered in. Flicked on. Cleared away well by the defence again. This has by no means been comfortable for Blackburn. Oh my word. Crossing from the left is overhit from Jackson. Keeper scrambling. He's not getting back towards his own net. And it clips the top of the bar in the end. I mean, it's a poor cross in the grand scheme of things, but almost got a reward for it. And that would have made 3.5 minutes of blockbuster action. Was great. I watched that in a bar in Mercia. Sonny Bradley scored. Unfortunately, that Sonny Bradley goal was at the opposite end to me. That was a long way away. And then obviously Sluga had dropped one in his net as well on his debut, which was a poor decision from Graham Jones to put him in on that day. But he wasn't ever a number one, unfortunately, as he proved that season. Yeah, that Sonny Bradley goal was unbelievable. Maybe that was the trick Derby missed. They should have put him on up front for 20 minutes here. He would have scored a hat-trick. That was his first goal for us as well. He'd been there the whole season before when we went up from League One. As Derby getting away down the right again. Do you know what? They've been a real threat out wide. Sluga had a nightmare. But that was him for that first half of the year. He dropped about 10 in his net. And towards the end of the year, made some of the best saves you'll ever see. But he was so inconsistent. It was literally a case of the sublime to the ridiculous. He was made for that cliche. And obviously he spent most of the last 2 or 3 years warming Lou Le Gret's bench. I mean, Derby are still having a go in the wide area, but Blackburn are now just sitting in a shape, trying to see the game out. And they've done their job, but I know we're going to get it inevitably in the comments of the predictions. People saying, yeah, but Blackburn are going to be fine now, aren't they? Look at us scoring goals for fun. But without Schmodics, this game is still 2-2. And for a large part, they were completely outplayed, particularly at the start of the second half. How that corner didn't go in, I will never, ever know. And yes, Gay could have scored a couple of goals himself. But in the end, what a night to start the championship season. The excitement was justified. The Sky TV pick was a good one. None of these boring top of the table clashes. Give us sides who can't defend, who are targeting each other as a victory because they've got the bottom 4 or 5 sides against them. That's what we want to see. And that's what we've had. Minute and a quarter to go. Chance for Derby to punt the ball forward. Probably a little too late now, but goal difference could be crucial. But can they make it 4-3? I've actually come closer to now thinking Blackburn might be down there, but still not down for me. Yeah, I'm sort of in that boat now, Harvey, to be honest. I think they'll be down there, but I probably wouldn't pick them for relegation. But that's where you get the panic after today. Like, Preston have played a side that will be in and around the top 6. Blackburn have played a side that will be in and around the bottom 6. Schmodics is chasing down a really poor back pass from 60 yards away. Poor decision making, but in the end, they do manage to get out, although nearly gave it away. Good work from Schmodics to chase it down. Can't question his work rate since he's been on. Maybe tonight will tempt him to stay, seeing a Hashi up there with him. I don't know, but they could probably do a two or three new faces at the back. Man of the match. It's an interesting one, isn't it? From an attacking point of view, I might have gone for Elder for Derby, but I look at the Blackburn team. No one defensively stands out. I think they've had a good game going forwards. I'd argue the 2 most impactful players have been Hashi and Schmodics coming on. But it seems harsh to give it to them. There's not really a standout player there, is there? I don't think Travis and Tronstad have protected the defence too well. I'd probably, to be honest, I'd be tempted to give it to one of the subs. Maybe Tyree Stolen, potentially, but I don't think it was consistently enough involved. So I think I'd probably just edge towards Hashi or Schmodics. Just purely on their involvement. Liam, football is back in EFL. That's what we wanted. We'll be watching loads of them this season. Yeah, one of them does deserve it. I'll be interested to see who Sky go for. We'll have a look in a few minutes' time. But for now, we are going to leave it here. I want to say a massive quick roundup thank you to everyone who's come along to watch our first ever championship or our first ever live stream on the podcast channel. No back-to-back relegations for Luton, Liam. Don't be silly. Do check out the pre-season predictions videos and the match day 1 predictions if you haven't seen them yet. The videos are all on the channel. Thank you so much for being in. Thank you for helping to make it a success. And we will be back again 2 weeks today. Sheffield Wednesday versus Leeds United. A big one in the Yorkshire Derby. But between now and then, we'll have all the match day predictions and everything else. And clips from AFC Wimbledon versus Colchester tomorrow. Tommy, thank you for being here. Thank you everyone for being here. Support, massively appreciated. Yeah, I can see Mendes Langharvey. I think he had a good game, but you never give it to the losing team, really, do you? For now, thank you for being here. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the rest of the opening EFL weekends. And whatever game you're going to, whatever game you're watching, I hope it's as good as this one. Thank you for being here. Thanks, this guy, for being in. Akshay, sorry. Always going mixed up there. Have a good one. See you later, all. Thanks for watching.